Hey guys, my name is Bobby Henderson, and this is my new channel, Financial Story Hour, where we dive into relatable financial stories to empower you to change your own. And with that said, for the first time, it's story time. We were barely 21 when we got married. It was incredible and exciting. Like many of you, we made some great financial choices early on, things I'm really proud of. I was the one interested in money, so I handled our finances. It's easy when things are going well, just reporting the good news. But then life happened. And when things get rough, it gets lonely real fast. I felt trapped. I told myself I could fix it, but changing your financial situation is impossible when your partner's in the dark. If you've been there, you know. There's a cycle of shame and self-delusion that just takes you deeper and deeper. I spent the first few years of our marriage encouraging my wife to spend more and not stress about money. How could I start asking her to buy fewer groceries? Tell her we couldn't afford to buy presents for everyone in our family. I was the one who was supposed to be good with money, right? I was supposed to make sure we were on the right track. I was supposed to have all the answers. I wanted to start things off on this channel with a bit of our own personal story. Look, we weren't on the verge of losing everything, but that's kind of the point. Everybody has their threshold of stress that they can handle, and it doesn't take much to start the cycle that I mentioned. For me, it was after a few big life changes that I realized that our income and savings were shrinking, but our lifestyle wasn't. The credit card balance started to build up, and soon enough, we weren't paying it off every month, and I was running around in circles trying to get our financial life back on track. I'll go into more specifics in future videos, but the point I want to make here is, if you're married and you're the financial person in the relationship, don't put yourself in a position where you feel alone. And don't rob your spouse of the chance to come alongside you and help. Let's talk about a few things we should have done differently from day one that would have really helped the situation. First, we could have established a routine of regularly discussing our finances. I feel confident that if we had established this habit early when things were great, then it would have been a much more smooth transition when life came at us. Not all these life changes were bad. We got pregnant with our first child. It was also during COVID, and my wife, who was a nurse, found herself on a COVID floor. Obviously, we had to change some things, and she went from making full-time good hospital pay to less than ideal clinic pay. Now, that was absolutely the right decision for our family, but if we had been on the same page with our finances, I feel confident that we could have made small incremental changes that would have allowed us to ride that out much more smoothly. The next thing we could have done that goes along with the first is have specific short-term and long-term goals for our finances. Now, like a lot of people, when we started out, we just wanted to survive. We just wanted to have a little bit of fun and figure out what life together looked like. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a position where you can stop and think and discuss in your financial meetings and just on dates in general, what do you want to happen in the next 3 years, 1 year, of course, 15 years, 30 years, those things, of course. We knew we wanted to buy a house eventually, and we knew we wanted to be able to retire, but there weren't a whole lot of specific in-between goals. And I think that those would have provided guardrails for us as we encountered these things. It would have allowed us to check, does what we're doing right now align with what we say are our goals? And so I think it's very important that you establish goals that are important to you and that you can both rally behind. And of course, I'm talking a lot to couples in this, but for your own personal finances, set goals. What do you want to look like next year and the year after that, 10 years from now? And finally, I feel like what really started to turn things around for us was when I began to consume content and education geared towards helping people optimize their financial lives. And I know that might seem self-serving to say, given that I'm literally starting a financial YouTube channel, but really that's the reason why. Because maybe I can help one person like these other creators helped me. And I hope that that's the case. And if you are watching this and you have never really given a lot of thought to your financial picture, I hope that this will make you stop and take stock of where you are. And I know I've geared a lot of this, because it was my story, towards married couples. But stick around, follow, subscribe, even if you are single, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of financial stories that a lot of people can relate to. And I can show you how to avoid them or to get out of them and make changes if you find yourself already there. So I'm really glad you guys were here. When I finally laid out our situation to Rachel, she could have rightfully been upset. She could have been frustrated. But instead, she just nodded and asked, what do we need to do? So we came up with a plan, and we had that balance eliminated in just a couple of months. Guys, I am so passionate about helping people live their best financial lives. Over the last couple of years, I've come to realize that a lot of people are suffering in silence and alone. If that's you, I'm going to do my best on this channel to provide some powerful, actionable education, some inspiration, some encouragement to help you make the changes necessary to change that financial story. And if you're ready to make those steps, and you're ready to make those changes, and you don't want to do it alone, then listen up. Along with this financial channel, I'm also launching at the same time my own financial coaching business. Now, this isn't associated with some big company that's trying to sell you insurance. This is just me trying to help people rewrite their financial story. And there is a link in the description for a 15 to 30 minute Q&A call. I'd love for you to get in touch with me. Whether you think I can help you or not, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to encourage you. And I think that for a lot of you guys out there, if you're going through something, maybe I can help. Either way, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to hear your story. And speaking of stories, ours isn't over, not by a long shot. So I hope you stick around, check out the video that should be uploading the same day as this one. And remember, it's never too late to change your story.